This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast designed and produced specifically for Florida small business owners and entrepreneurs. Small Biz Florida, talk that works for Florida. This podcast is supported by the Florida SBDC Network, providing the tools, strategies, and expertise to help Florida's business community thrive. Visit the Florida SBDC online at www.floridasbdc.org or contact your local office and get started on your path to success today.
And this is Small Biz Florida, the podcast and broadcast that's all things business across the state of Florida. I am Tom Kindred, and we've got with us co-hosting today our very good friend. You'll recognize him immediately if you're a regular listener here to Small Biz Florida. We got our very good friend, Dr. Herb Ricardo, standout professor at the Indian River State College School of Business. Thank you, Herb, for joining us today.
Tom, thanks so much. It's great to be here on the Pruitt campus.
Yep. So, incredible event today that we're broadcasting from right here on the Pruitt campus of Indian River State College. We've got a gathering of the National Electric Vehicle Consortium. Indian River State College received a grant from the National Science Foundation to bring together a group of professionals, a group of experienced individuals who are all working in this electric vehicle space. Incredible room, full, got about 60 or 70 folks inside the room from all across the country. We got folks from Washington State, we got folks from Ohio, we got folks from Arizona. Incredible group and gathering of folks today, all committed to this electric vehicle space. And we've got one of those standout, experienced folks with us right now. We've got Dr. Christopher McNally from Hudson Valley Community College. Dr. McNally serves as a professor in applied technologies. Listen, thank you so much for stepping out of the meeting and joining us here on Small Biz Florida.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Absolutely. I mean, what an incredible group and gathering today to talk about really, and you're going to tell us what is really the future of vehicles. And again, you know, Dr. Cooper, who is kind of leading the effort here from the IRSC perspective, reminded me that while electric vehicles in the name of this consortium, it's really about other segments of the market too. But let's start, Chris, with just a little bit of your background, kind of your pathway to today's event.
Oh, great. I started off as an automotive technician. So when I was growing up, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fix cars. And my family was insistent that I was going to be an engineer. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a doctor, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So, I started off, I was fixing cars, but my parents said, you have to go to college. You have to get a 4-year degree. So I went for a degree in education, and assuming I would never use it. So I worked in the automotive industry for about a decade, and then I realized that I needed to do something more. So I relied on that education that I had, and I went back and I became a professor teaching automotive repair and working in the industry, and never knew anything about electric vehicles. It wasn't reality. It is reality now.
Wow.
So as we've gone through the process where, we started off with our hybrid vehicles and then moving into our plug-in hybrid vehicles, into fully electric vehicles now, I learned as the industry learned. And I realized that we had to have people who are going to lead this area. So I wanted to jump right in on that. And actually, I'm a professor of automotive technology, but I'm also the department chair of our applied technologies department, which incorporates our electrician training program, our aviation program, welding. So I've got a number of areas that we're looking for the connection.
Right. So, we talked a little bit before we hit the record button here on this segment of the podcast. But again, what I, you emphasized that this is really here now. I mean, and what's, as we prepare for all this, it's more than just kind of what the general public sees. They see manufacturing. They see Tesla. They see these electric cars. They see the Ford coming out with the Ford Lightning. But there's really an awful lot going on behind the scenes in this space. And you're one of those folks that's kind of driving what's going on behind the scenes. Talk to us what's going on in terms of behind the scenes, training, curriculum, degrees. Is all that beginning to happen now behind all of this? The glitz and glamour of the cars on the road?
Yeah, so somebody's got to keep these cars working. And so we're looking at the basic automotive technician, if you will. Automobiles have become so advanced in the past few decades. It's a completely different world than it was when I got into the industry back in the 80s. So the technician who's working on your cars is really a very, very advanced, sophisticated technician. Those people, now they have to learn a completely different industry. When we're looking at electric vehicles, we're looking at AC, three-phase, high-voltage systems. As an automotive technician, I was trained in low-voltage DC. So we're talking 12 or 14 volts DC. Now we're looking at 800 volts AC, three-phase. This is a completely different industry for us. Wow. So, we've got to take these technicians who are doing a fabulous job on existing vehicles, and we've got to train them how to work on these new systems. And we've also got to bring along these young technicians who want to get into the field and introduce them into this. So this is blossoming. So
again, as I told you, our little podcast here is dedicated to talking about entrepreneurship, small business growth and expansion, opportunities for folks to get involved in starting small business, expanding small business, and I want to talk about your grant, but before we get there, kind of talk to us about how does all this convert into small business? Are there going to be opportunities out there for small businesses to get engaged in this space?
Absolutely. So even if you look at just what is existing and what people are familiar with, so if we're looking at the repair shop in your neighborhood, there's got to be somebody in that repair shop who's going to work on the vehicles. When you look at like a Tesla, there comes a point when Tesla literally walks away from the vehicle and says, this is obsolete, we're not dealing with it anymore. But those vehicles are still out there. Somebody's got to fix them. So, we've got the independent shops that are going to be able to do that. So, we can look at the existing structure and things we're familiar with, but then there are other areas that people aren't even really thinking about. So, that plug-in charger where you pull into the shopping mall and you plug your car in to charge. Somebody's got to install that. Somebody's got to maintain it. So there are job opportunities, there are business opportunities there. Just somebody to go around to all the shopping malls and make sure that these systems are still working properly. Wow. There's a niche. There's a demand for that. Right.
Yeah. Maybe we won't air this segment. Maybe we'll go into business, Herb.
Exactly.
Don't share it.
Yeah. So real quickly, I want to make sure that I get to a topic that's near and dear to your heart and important to you. Talk about how you're engaged at your community college. You recently received a grant. Talk about that grant and what you're doing.
Yeah, so we've got a NSF ATE funded grant, and it's the Vehicle to Grid Charging Education Initiative. And Vehicle to Grid, what that means is when you plug your car in, you can charge your car, but once your car reaches a certain level of charge, now the power company can use your battery in your car as a power supply. So, we look a few years back when Texas had their major failure of their power grid. If the electric vehicles that existed then in Texas were plugged in and had this vehicle to grid technology, there would have been enough backup supply that the Texas grid would not have crashed.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I just love a professor who is just energized about their topic and everything else. I mean, I just love it. We get into the classroom and everything else. And so I'm going to twist this a little bit. And I want to know a little bit about the students, okay? Because I'm thinking a student who's going in for automotive, still, even a young student, they're looking at the combustion, right? Yeah. They're looking at, getting a Hemi, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, now what they're looking at is batteries and everything else like this. How have you made that transition in jazzing up for today's student, about what this is really all about?
Real simple. Take them for a ride.
There you go.
Okay,
love it.
Love it. We have a brand new Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah.
We got the high performance version of it.
Wow.
And when our students come in, and I'm from upstate New York, and when you think about the typical automotive, when I think about my typical automotive student, I'm figuring a young guy, 18 to 20 years old, wearing a Carhartt jacket, his construction boots, dirty jeans, and he wants to, number one, he either wants to work on engines, or if he's into the body program, he wants to spray paint.
That's okay. You're right.
So we've got this young guy who's a young person. We're seeing many, many more females entering the industry. We have this young person who has a really strong idea of what they like about automobiles, and so they want that performance. Take them for a ride in that Mach-E, and pin them back in the seat when you step on the accelerator, and you've got them. So they see the performance aspects of it, and then they're people who want to work on new technology. They want to learn stuff. So it's just a matter of exposing them to the excitement of the electric vehicle, and once you show them, you got them.
I love it. I love it. No, that's great. And of course, this is the future. This is terrific. Yeah. I love it. And the thing is what's interesting is the combustion engine can be something they can do on the side, but obviously this is what they're going to do to make money. Yep. This is a career path for them, right? That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, the combustion engine is not going away anytime soon.
Right.
So the students who are coming into our programs, they're still going to be working on those combustion engines for years to come. Mm-hmm. Even if we stop today, the typical vehicle is lasting 10 to 15 years, so it's still going to be around for another 10 to 15 years. So our students, they need to understand how the combustion engine works, but they also need to understand how the electric vehicle works, so they'll be able to work in both areas.
The future.
Yeah.
And talk again, this is not... Again, EV is in the name of this consortium, but it really is about other segments. And we talked about operations, maintenance, repair, which is what you've taught. We can train students for careers in that. We can, there's emerging technologies. We don't know where this is really going. There could be uses we don't know about yet. Infrastructure. You talked about the power to the grid, the battery to the grid, charger to the grid, so infrastructure, and then of course fleet conversions.
Yes,
there's going to be, I'm sure, larger fleets out there saying, let's convert to EV vehicles. So those are kind of all the segments that are involved in this.
Yeah. So in New York, what we're doing is we're actually transitioning our school buses. The governor put out a decree that by 2035 we will be 100% school buses. Electric school buses. So now we've got to go back and we've got to look at all those school bus garages and say, are you ready to charge 10 school buses, 100 school buses?
Wow.
If you're not, now we've got to get the engineers in to figure out what's got to be upgraded. We've got to have construction workers, we've got to have civil engineers, we've got to have electrical engineers, we have to have technicians. So, the opportunities for all of these industries are just huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And again, talk to us a bit about your actual community college. Where's it located? Student population. How long has it been around? Tell us a little bit about Hudson Valley.
Oh, Hudson Valley Community College. We're in Troy, New York, which is right next to Albany, New York, the capital of New York. If you were to look at a map and you looked at New York City and you started going north, about halfway to Canada, that's where you're going to find us.
Nice.
And literally in the Hudson Valley, so the Hudson River, the famous Hudson River, you can almost see the river from our campus. So it's a beautiful, beautiful section of upstate New York. Typically, people who are not from New York, when you say New York, they think the city.
Right.
This is just beautiful pastures, mountains. So, it's a gorgeous part of the country. Hudson Valley has been in existence since 1953. It started off as a training institute for World War II veterans and moved into community college, and the automotive program has been part of the college since day one.
Wow.
So we've been there right along, and we've evolved. Now we're going into our electric vehicle area, autonomous vehicles.
Wow.
We're also very much into the clean energy, so dealing with wind power. There's a huge wind power project that's going on in Albany right now where we're building the stands that are going to hold the wind turbines that'll be off of Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you get engaged in this National Electric Vehicle Consortium here at Indian River State College on the Treasure Coast? How did you get involved?
Through Kevin Cooper, Dr. Kevin Cooper. When I was developing my grant and making contacts throughout, his name kept coming up. This is somebody that you have to speak to. Indian River, they're really leading the way in creating these consortiums in high-tech industries. So I had to get in touch with Dr. Cooper. And when I explained to him the grant that we were working on, he got very excited and very, very interested in helping us. With his years of experience dealing with NSF grants, he's been an invaluable resource for me. Right. So Dr. Cooper has really been the key for us.
Nice. Okay. And again, I think the most important thing we want to kind of leave our listeners on this segment is this is Small Business 101 right now.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, it is time. If you're looking to be in an innovative field, if you're a student looking to start a career in an innovative field, I can't think of a better one than this.
Yeah, and especially here in the state of Florida.
Sure.
In New York, we have the demand. Florida, I mean, with the sunshine that you guys have year round, right. the electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging, this area is just prime for it.
And you know what, we both have states that are pretty high populated with cars and everything else like that. So if we're going to go ahead and do that, we need to make them electric and everything else. So
yeah, especially when all of us New Yorkers retire and we move down here to Florida.
That's right.
We want to make sure you're ready for us.
That's right. That's right. We will be. Come on down.
That's right. That you do. There's a lot of you coming. I can tell you. Yeah. We talk about that number all the time. Listen, Dr. McNally, great work.
Thank you.
Listen, and thanks for making the trip down to Florida. I mean, the room is full of folks from all over the country. It's impressive. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to come down and be part of this, because I think this is going to be big.
This is really for
sure.
So thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Dr. Ricardo, any closing thoughts?
Great. No, absolutely. And actually, I'm from Monticello, New York.
Oh, really?
So not too far. I'm just going to throw that out there. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah. New York is definitely my home state. But anyway, no, thank you so much for being a part of this, and we'll certainly keep up the relationship for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is Small Biz Florida, and we are producing some segments here at what is a very innovative event taking place right here along the Treasure Coast at the Pruitt campus of Indian River State College. It is the National Electric Vehicle Consortium. It is a National Science Foundation funded program, and it's all about creating connectivity, pardon the pun, in the electric vehicle space. And great folks like Dr. McNally have joined us down here. So thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
This is Small Biz Florida. Stay tuned. There's going to be more to come from the NEVC event right here at Indian River State College. This is Small Biz Florida.
This has been Small Biz Florida, created and produced by the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Your host for Small Biz Florida is Tom Kindred. Partners for Small Biz Florida include WPSL and WSTU and Indian River State College, named the 2019 winner of the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence.